And when we start to have these hormonal shifts, and that hormone that is first to start to decline in, perimenopause, in, maybe even late 30s, but for sure into the 40s for women, is progesterone. And progesterone is that hormone that is calming. I won't say it's your resiliency hormone, but it helps you become a little bit more resilient. It also impacts sleep. And we all know that when we are not getting sleep, life feels much heavier, life feels much more challenging. And what's happening because of these hormonal shifts and because of the impact that they have on your adrenals, and I have a whole episode coming for you next week on the adrenals, is that the patterns and the coping mechanisms that once worked for you no longer do. So if you just threw yourself into work and you overworked, or if you were the overfunctioner, or if you were the people pleaser, or on the flip side, if you're just the person who shuts down, these patterns and these coping mechanisms don't serve you in the same way any longer because of those hormonal shifts that are happening and the impact that they have on things like the adrenals, the thyroid, etc. And then there's this concept that Justin and I actually recorded a whole podcast episode. So if you scroll back, I don't know when, but you'd have to scroll back in the episodes. It is titled "Whipped Cream on Poop." And I love this analogy because it's one that you will remember. And so this is where, what you're seeing potentially on the internet, on social media, is different supplements, different biohacking, maybe even different nervous system regulation techniques. Most of these things do have their place if you have foundations underneath. And this is where it is essential that you have foundations underneath before you start to layer more on top, or before you start to put the fancy stuff on top, because otherwise you have nothing underneath that is going to be stable. So these foundations are foundations that I have talked about and that I will continue to talk about because they're foundations. And those are foundations like circadian rhythm, nutrition, sleep, movement, and that nervous system regulation. And not in a fancy way of like all the nervous system practices, but in real life. So I had the pleasure of talking with a friend earlier today. I hadn't seen her for a very, very long time, so that's why I hesitated with the word, but I will definitely call her a friend because we connected so well, and she's doing really amazing work with women and the nervous system. And so we're able to connect so deeply on, how we're working with clients and what we're seeing and our own healing journeys. And it was such a beautiful, uplifting and empowering conversation. And one of the things that we talked about was that, we maybe have clients coming to us and they're like, oh yeah, I've done this nervous system program, or I have these nervous system practices, these regulation practices. And those practices are great. And also, the real work with your nervous system is being able to be in a situation and meet yourself differently. So where maybe you would have shut down, or maybe you would have, fleed, or maybe you would have been really reactive, or maybe you would have reached for your phone, or maybe you would reach for food, you can actually pause and stay with yourself and be with whatever is coming up for you, even though it's uncomfortable. That is the practice. That is the work. Yes, do I love a good, put my earbuds in and love a good somatic practice? 100%. I absolutely do. And it's in the moments like earlier today when I'm recording this on a Friday afternoon, and it needs to get done today. And I felt myself like, oh, I just want to eat. I just want some chocolate. I just want something crunchy. It's Justin's birthday today. So as I'm recording this, and so I picked up some gluten-free cookies from a friend, and I wanted to eat a cookie on the way home. And I'm like, no, sit with yourself, stay with yourself. What do you need? How do you need to meet yourself so that you can, get done what you need to get done this afternoon and then enjoy the rest of your evening. So that is the work.